So you return. Welcome back. I hope you sit and enjoy episode 2 of the Black Lotus Saga.
At a secret underground facility on the southern coast of Japan, a Japanese soldier walks nervously down the hall. There was a putrid smell of death lingering in the air. He approached the cadaver room.
Papa. Sir, a message.
The Black Lotus was using a chisel and hammer on the skull of a long-dead corpse. He dropped the tools on the ground and picked up a handsaw.
Excuse me, sir. It's urgent.
なぜあなたは恋をしませんか? You dare interrupt me?
あなたの愛情が必要です。Sir, it is a radio transmission.
公開 From who?
あなたも気にしさめん、ハサナ。Important message from General Hasano.
Boki. Let's go.
They went down the corridor to the radio room and approached the operator.
あなたの手を握ってもいいですか?
Here you go, sir.
Honada. Go ahead.
私の美味しいがよかってあるよ。欲しなきゃと思った。パッとバサを添えて。
お口マン。
パッとバサを添えて。
ゲリー。
The escort and radio operator glanced at each other in fear.
けすがりの時間ですか? わたなおさら。
私たちは永遠にいい友達です。Timer, to die for your country.
私もです。
永遠に。
Oh no! But why?
The Black Lotus took out his pistol.
That is super nice. Oh no!
He navigates the maze of hallways and eventually approaches a large steel door with 2 armed guards.
Shumegama! Sir!
The Black Lotus slowly walks up to a large Olympic-sized swimming pool in the center of the room. Underneath the water surface was a man with no legs and 8 large octopus-like tentacles 30 feet in length coming out of his back. He was unconscious and had a breathing apparatus attached to his face. The Black Lotus picked up a rock and
You never were a morning person. Why have you ever looked at me? Your time has come, brother. dead ass. Then go. Rise up, brother, and unleash yourself upon these walls. And feast. Feast!
The creature, the White Lotus, took off down the hall. The Black Lotus walks over to a tub-sized storage box up against the wall. Inside the box are two egg-like rubber pods, about the size of a small garbage can. He rolls a cart over and loads them on. The White Lotus returns.
There is more on the way. Let's go.
They make their way through the lab, down towards the dock. The White Lotus feasts on anyone they come across. The Black Lotus goes from room to room, planting explosives. While planting the last and biggest bomb along the facility's structure.
Don't move. You've betrayed us.
You think you are a match for me? I charge my opponent. He has me dead to rights. But little does he know I've mastered the ancient art form of Inke. Breathing/movement art form. He aims right at me. I'm aligned in his sights. He has me dead to rights. Dead to rights. He fires. And I duck to the right. He takes aim again. Dead to rights. I move to my left. I close in on my opponent. He has me dead to rights. This is my last chance. I'm gaining the advantage. If I can just get close enough, I can.
Not what does touch Uragita. You got me, Say. I had you dead to rights, but you got me. How'd you do it, boss? How?
Tashi wa kimuku shara no kirai natta omotte imasu. You tried to run before you learned to crawl.
Say.
He finally makes it down to the dock. Floating in the water was a small, miniature submarine. The White Lotus rose from underneath the surface.
Load these parts for me. Manners? You want me to respect an octopusy? Load them yourself,
The White Lotus disappeared below the surface.
Fine. Run away. Swim away. There's no deep sea that could contain how much of a bitch you are.
He wheels the cart to the end of the dock and lifts the first pod into the opening of the mini-sub and chucks it in. He steps back and grabs the second, and then climbs through the gap, goes down the ladder, closes the hatch above him. The submarine was only about 20 feet long, and inside was nothing more than a chair bolted to the deck, some industrial straps on the wall behind the ladder, and a single lamp hanging from the hull. He rolls the two pods over and straps them to the wall. He walks over to the chair, sits down, and then straps himself in.
I need some dick. Alright then, brother. I said alright then, brother.
Suddenly thrust to the back of his chair. The G-forces were almost enough to make him pass out, but he kept his composure. After several seconds, the acceleration slowed down, and they were moving at a constant speed. On the outside, the White Lotus had wrapped two of his tentacles around the hull and was pulling the sub with a powerful grace, cutting through the water at a high speed, faster than any American ship was capable of going. They came to a stop on the surface, and there was a knock on the outer hatch. The Black Lotus got out of the chair and climbed up the ladder. He opened the outer hatch and stuck his head out. They were a mile from the shore. The Japanese coast stretched in both directions, a mixture of beaches and mountaintops. Behind the mountains to the northwest, high in the sky, was a mushroom cloud. The White Lotus pops his head out of the water.
Look. The days of the past now meet the future.
Just then, the mountain exploded and sent a shockwave. The Black Lotus closes the hatch. Climbs down the ladder. Strapping himself into the chair. After an hour, they come to a stop. There was a knock on the hull, and in reply, the White Lotus ventured off on his long journey to set the trap. The Black Lotus takes a small case out of his inner jacket pocket. Inside were two syringes and two different vials. One vial had a clear liquid, and the other a dark black. He grabs the syringe and fills it with the clear liquid. Zips the case back up, puts it back in his pocket. He injects it directly into his neck and presses the plunger, then tosses the syringe against the wall. Within seconds, he starts to pass out.
Please get him.
Stop! Get away!
Get him. Get sissy boy. Sissy boy. Look at him, he's crying.
Oh, your brother's not here to save you now.
About 23-something hours later. The Black Lotus wakes up groggy. He reached into his jacket pocket and took out a small pill bottle.
Oh, my gums are numb. Straight to the head. Fucking octopus, you know nothing. Okay, one more. Okay, that's... it's not dick, but it will do. Come on, let's go.
The submarine takes off at a high speed. Half an hour goes by, and they come to a stop. The American submarine was above and ahead them. The White Lotus moves them ever so slowly forward and up towards the sub, closing the gap until they are only a few feet away from the outer hull. The access hatch of the Black Lotus submarine was equipped with a suction cup docking system that was similar to an octopus's tentacle. It latched on. That was the signal. The Black Lotus held a button in his hand. Whenever he pressed it, a specially made saw and thermite combo built into the docking system began to cut through the outer hull of the American submarine. He timed it with the explosions as best he could. The White Lotus had a tentacle wrapped around the entire docking system to help absorb some of the sound. He holds the button down. Shockwaves of the explosion.
Let's go.
He unbuckles himself and leaps out of the chair. He goes behind the ladder and undoes the straps to release the pods. He then takes the netted straps off the wall and wraps them around each pod, attaching the carabiners to his belt. He ascends the ladder and opens the hatch into the space between the two ships. He pushes the chunk of metal, now a cutout from the American submarine's hull, and pushes up with his shoulder and all his might. He climbed up the darkened space. The air was warmer than his own sun. His ears popped from the pressure change. Hopefully no one else noticed. He reaches down, grabs the straps, and hauls each pod up as quickly and quietly as he can. He undoes the carabiners from his belt and takes off the net from the pod. He then takes out a knife and stabs the pod, cutting each one. Inside are two naked Japanese corpses, lying in a tight fetal position, covered in ooze.
takes the small pouch out of his pocket. He fills the last syringe in the dark and sets the pouch down. The Black Lotus grabs a fistful of his own hair on the right side of his skull and rips it completely off. It was actually a fake patch of hair connected by magnets that revealed a large network of biomechanical metal plating that went deep into his brain. He carefully guides the syringe into a porthole on the plating of his skull and stabs it deep into his brain, injecting the black liquid. The two naked Japanese corpses sprang to life and stood up out of their pods. The Black Lotus now had control of them. The two crept slowly to the door, opened it very gently. In the next room was the American chef, alone in the kitchen. What the fuck was that noise? Hello. At the same time, one corpse went low, the other went high.
One of them howled in victory. The power turned back on. The kitchen was covered in blood. It was all over the floor, the walls, the ceiling. The chef laid there, still, lifeless. And then he sprang back to life, his eyes oozing black liquid. The Black Lotus had control.
Now you belong to me. Time to hide.
One of the two Japanese corpses hides behind the cover of a shelf. The other one reaches up towards the ceiling and grabs onto the pipes that run up and down the length of the sub. He pulls his entire body up, right above the doorway. And the now turned chef crawls behind the end of the prep table, out of sight. A few moments later.
You said you're ready to go first, right, Jackson?
Well, fucking you go on ahead first, Miles. You're the one talking shit saying you want to get somebody. I don't want any of that shit.
Alright, rock, paper, scissors, man. Who goes first?
Rock, paper, scissors in my ass. You fucking go first, Miles. Mr. Tough Guy, fucking juice, skinny, dying, and
whatever, man. I'll just fucking go first. Shut the fuck up, man. Whoever's in there better come out right now.
Miles enters through the doorway first and sprints straight ahead.
Let's go.
Jackson cuts to the left.
Oh my god, there's fucking blood everywhere. You, Captain Miles, the
The chef stands up and charges at Miles, knocking him into the cabinet before taking a chunk out of his neck. Jackson, while being eaten, is able to land a punch on one of them and stand up.
Get the fuck out of me.
He darts out of the kitchen and desperately runs towards the control deck.
I got it. Jesus, you goddammit, close that fucking bulkhead door now. Can you start to feel it? You hear me? You know I'm there. Feel it, you weakling, and your puny. Jackson, you weak. You and Octopus have much in common. Both bitch made.
Miles turns into one of them and then stands up, takes off running down the hall. The two Japanese pick up the shotguns off the floor and slowly follow him out. The Black Lotus turns to the chef, who is just standing there.
You turned them rather quickly. The ink run strong in you. You will stand by me.
The two with the shotguns had one goal: take out as many as possible, as quickly as possible, except no headshots. The two MPs that were bitten by Miles and Jackson had turned. They were able to bite two more men and turn them as well. Combined with the gunfire, the control room was cleared in less than a minute. The remaining Americans scattered towards the back.
Feast on what you've done. Replenish yourself. Turn those who have yet to be turned.
All of the horde in the control room started to feast on all the men that were killed by shotgun fire. Those that were gunned down, dead on the floor, started to turn.
Hold on just 1 second, let me take another puff.
The only remaining Americans left alive were the captain and the sonar tech.
What the fuck is going on?
We have a saying in old Japan. Watashi wa gyunyu ga daisuki de. It means much water is necessary for lotus flower to blossom.
How the fuck you get on my ship?
It's my ship now, Captain.
Over my goddamn dead body, you Japanese son of a bitch. Infectious.
That is super nice.
Prepare to die with honor, Captain. Maybe you, the Japanese, hid one life or another. Let's put such theories to
I'll fucking see you in hell, you Japanese bastard. Fuck. I'll fucking see you in hell, you Japanese bastard.
Get it.
The chef steps forward and gets down to his knees. He takes a bite out of the captain's dead body. The captain turns and stands to his feet.
Look at you now, Captain. Waste of a patriot. You are part of me now. And you do and listen like the rest of my dogs.
The Black Lotus leads the horde out of the control room towards the back of the ship.
This way, bottoms.
The horde continues to the hatch leading to the quarters. A few of them work at unlocking the door. The Black Lotus starts to hear Troy as he begins to slip.
All right, gentlemen. We got two problems.
Troy.
Japs.
Troy.
May look like us.
You know you hear me.
We must kill them.
That bite on your ass did not come from nothing but my dogs. That's a nice speech. Who you calling fucking Jap? Octopussy or Raisu. And that's 2 bites on 2 ass a cheek. Now, Troy, you will turn and you will listen. And I will carry speeches. Nice fucking guitar solo, asshole.
And we wash it down with a glass of freedom.
Stupid fucking American bird. Cuckoo, bald head ass.
A few of them work at unlocking the door. Once the door is open, they all make their way towards the engine room.
Hell yeah, brother. 3, 2, 1. Kill that son of a bitch.
What the fuck? Mama's way.
Just then, the horde barrels through the hatchway. From the very back, they all walk over, followed by the Black Lotus. Both the Black and White Lotus share a psychic moment with each other.
Just like you, sister. Shut up! We can't all be in tank, hiding tears like you. You are drowning and crying, you bitch. You fucking octopus. You have a lot of rumor to talk, Mr. There was one time Mr. Tentacles can't even wipe ass, probably full of shit. I bet if we looked in your trolleys right now, we would find skinner marks that spell I am fat fuck. Shut up. No, you won't, you fucking, you octopus. No, nothing. Whatever a fucking bitches can do shit without me in your fucking hair. Fuck it. Might as well call Crystal back. Oh, shit. Double sun, sausage. It's a chill coward without us.
The White Lotus swims over to the rear torpedo tube and breaks his way in.
Hurry in the captain's quarters. Send me Private Saxington. Post haste. I have lot to discuss with my swollen balls. And don't forget, stay tuned for episode 3. I promise you, you won't want to miss it. And it will be coming at you sooner than you think. Like Peter North in the 90s. Whatever you do not forget, click on that bell, like and subscribe, Rumpus Hour. That way, you stay notified with everything we do. And if you want, donate to our Patreon. Don't be octopusy. Donate. You know you want to. We have that good shit.
That is super nice. That is super nice.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.